Hey, what's popular, everybody? So, real quick, man, I'm trying to balance this thing out with my art, so I can't really do a long video today. So, I just want to pass on information. Go and check out Kim Iverson's channel. Check out her locals and check her out on Rockfin. She did a really cool video. Actually, got a couple up, but the one that I'm particularly referencing is one that she's put up on her YouTube channel where she's talking about this back and forth with China, where we are going as far as the American empire and the U.S. dollar is devaluing, and how countries are getting out of the U.S. dollar, which will obviously have an effect on our country standing, and then of course wars and all of this stuff, which brings up the conversation of or draws to the point of this whole Wuhan lab leak now making its way into the mainstream media, because obviously that information had been out a long time ago. There's been numerous specialists, journalists, scientists, doctors, who whistleblowers who put information out. So why is it now making its way into the mainstream media? Why is this narrative now being pushed? Why is it that Fauci's being thrown under the bus? Not that Fauci is good or bad. I don't personally give a shit fuck damn about Fauci in a good way or a bad way. It's just the point that he's obviously being torched right now. And so, as always with most things, if the mainstream media is talking about it, it's a distraction, or it's misleading, or it's them trying to grab the narrative, right? So, again, Kim Iverson in her video, just touching lightly on it, she talks about, okay, so let me just say this real quick. Let me just go through this real fast. Trump comes in the presidency. Everybody hate Trump. Trump's not a part of the club. Mainstream media makes Trump out to be the huge racist, and nothing that Trump's administration can do is right. Everything is wrong, and Trump is the next Hitler, right? Although the reality of that is that Trump was highly ineffective, had no control over his administration, and basically people in his administration were doing what they wanted to do, not to negate any of the blame from Trump's horribleness, because clearly he was horrible. But I'm just saying that's the narrative that came about. But having said that, Trump came out earlier on talking about the whole Wulong thing. He had people out there checking it out, all this stuff, right? And that was all played off as if it was the worst thing in the world, most racist thing in the world, right? Trump's attitude towards China was considered the most worst thing in the world, blah, blah, blah. But now with the Democrats in office and Biden in office, a lot of the same stuff is still going on. A lot of the same behavior is still going on from the U.S. perspective. As a matter of fact, it's ratcheting up even more. But it's all okay. And none of the things that are being said, done, or considered are, one, racist, or two, hypocritical, or three, counterproductive to home here, right? Which we know that to be all full of crap. It's bull crap, right? None of that is true, right? Everything that I've just said that it is not, as it applies to the narrative they are spinning, it specifically is, right? So, at any rate, Professor Richard Wolff is always talking about we are seeing the empire, the fall of the empire, the collapsing of the empire. Maybe not tomorrow, but it's coming. It's circling the toilet, right? This may or may not be true. I have my feelings about it, but I do tend to agree with him for the most part, because he's a pretty smart guy, right? He knows more than I know, and he knows what he's talking about, and he makes some pretty good arguments. But I'm making that point to say this. The empire does feel power slipping from its clutches. The neocons and neoliberals, which are basically all just neocons, they do feel power slipping from their clutches. And then the question is, which direction do we go in to retain that power, to regain that power and retain that power, right? And so the idea is that tensions are ratcheting up with China, or at least in the media making you believe it, that China is our enemy. China may or may not be, who knows, right? But the media is making you believe that China is our enemy and they are the worst, and human rights are being violated, even though we've got we've been listed as one of the worst human rights violators. Not to mention the wars that we've been involved in, the wars that we've supported. But that aside, what we have is this narrative spinning about the Wulong thing, right? And what the media is pushing without confirming, because they keep getting right to the edge of it, but they won't confirm it, right? Because they're not doing any investigative journalism, obviously. They're not doing simple DuckDuckGo searches. I say DuckDuckGo and not Google, because if you do a Google search, it won't return anything that you're looking for. So it's like 20,000 pages back, right? So they're not doing any investigative journalism. They're not doing any hard searches on their own. They just get to the point of saying that this may have come out of China and we don't know, and blah, 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 right? Why is that? That is the question, why? And in Kim's video, she kind of goes into how we're not the biggest bully on the block anymore, right? Because we have failed, not we, meaning me and you, but those jerks up the street, right? They have failed to invest in the people, us, me and you. That's the me and you. They failed to invest in us, right? They failed to invest in our society, our structure, our infrastructure, our education, our health, all of these things. It's just all the money's gone to, wealth transfers to the wealthy and to the elite by way of cutting taxes, by way of robbing us, by way of war and all of these war mechanisms and things of that nature, by way of tech companies, tech oligarchs, as the term has been coined, right, and investing in them, right? Meanwhile, we are becoming decrepit. Well, that has an effect on your overall society, you understand? And so what you see is Biden making all these big blah, blah, blahs about Russia, right? God, I'm trying my best to keep this quick. Not Russia, Russia, yeah, but China. And saying how we got to match China, we got to beat China. Even the infrastructure bill that was obviously the talks have just failed for the infrastructure bill, but still even any meager actions towards infrastructure that the Biden administration was taking was all about trying to play catch up with China. Here's the deal. You're not going to catch up. You're not going to catch up. I remember being I think it was in Afghanistan at the time, my first time in Afghanistan. And I remember being in my chew, which is a trailer, like your little sleeping area, right? Your crib, for all intents and purposes. And me and my homeboy, who's also a tech, hey, shout out to Raymond. What up, Ray? If you're checking this out. We were watching, I think it was like the CNN at the time, China News or whatever the case is. And they were covering China, and they were talking about China rolling out these new aircraft carriers, and they were talking about then the plan for China that China had projected. Because they're playing chess, man. As Kim said in her video, right? I'm just trying to make sure I give her credit for anything that I say from her video, right? They've been playing chess for a long time. They're thinking long time out. A lot of these countries are thinking long time out, right? And so China has strategically been taking actions and placing itself in the right places and partnering up and offering assistance to certain countries. Now, I'm not saying they're all good for what they're doing. I'm not saying that they have the best intentions. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they were doing a better job of it than we have been, right? Most importantly, China raised a large portion of their society out of poverty, right? That's amazing, right? And that's something that we could do here, but we clearly don't, right? Because here's the main reason. I have to do a little sidetrack. The main reason why we cannot, have not, will not take those actions. One, those assholes, those jerks up the street, they're selfish and they're in it for themselves. And why not? They built this system. Their forefathers. I'm not talking. When I say this, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying white people, because I said their forefathers, right? And if you are a minority, you're black, you'd be like, oh, yeah. But no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm saying specifically to the ruling class, right? And whether you realize it or not, we do have a ruling class. Whether you agree or not, we do have a ruling class. Look at some of the names in mainstream media. Look at some of the names in our entertainment industry. Look at some of the names. And I'm talking about the rapper. I'm talking about the big names, right? The power players. Look at the power player names, right? Look at the power player names in Washington, and you'll start noticing that they don't all have the same name, but you'll start noticing that people are connected, people are linked up, people are tied together, people are related, right? Good old boy network like a mug, right? So you see that these people have been investing in themselves. They've come together from their forefathers put together this whole thing that we call this great experiment, right? They put together this great experiment for their own benefit. Whether you realize it or not, that's what's going on, right? So I have this analogy. I've probably shared it before. I'll share it again. Take the U.S., picture it as a soup bowl, right? And or better yet, here's the perfect thing. So when I was in Iraq, I'd be at these little FOBs, right? And cops and stuff, and Afghanistan as well. And typically there'd be these farmers and guys who will work and people who are, they call them TCN. I don't think that's real cool to call them TCNs. At the time, I didn't know any better, but now I know, like, you couldn't say you could say certain words back in the day in a Eddie Murphy comedy skit that you can't say now, right? But point is this, back on track, Brave. You would have these nationals working alongside the U.S. or living in the environment that we have the cops and the FOBs and stuff like that. And they would have they would cook these dishes, right? And it would be like what we would call something like okra soup or something like that. But whatever the meal is for them, right? And then they would have their little bread stuff, and they'd be sopping the food up with the bread, right? And the falafel or whatever that crap's called. They'd be sopping the food. They'd be sopping all of the gravy, the soup, the whatever out of the bowl till there's nothing there. They've cleaned the bowl with that. Well, that's what we are now, right? Only the country is the bowl, right? The bread is the different little tools they use to transfer wealth up to the wealthy and to the powerful and to the ruling elite, right? The mechanisms, whether it's the tech oligarchy taking up your information and benefiting from it, but not paying you for it, right? And then not even being willing to answer to you when they cancel your account or deplatform you or whatever the case is, right? When we're subsidizing the oil companies, when we're giving more and more money to defense spending, but that money's not actually going to soldiers, that money's going to defense contractors and whatever. When we're spending all this money, sending all this money to these different countries and stuff for their protection, like we watched in Israel as Netanyahu and them slaughtered those people, slaughtered all those Palestine people, brown people, right? Slaughtered them. And then Biden's week behind finally came out and said something when he couldn't help but say something after messing up Rashid Tlaib's name, and or before messing up Rashid Tlaib's name, and because he messed up Rashid Tlaib's name, he called her Rashid. That's just insulting. The squad is like supposed to be major, which shows you where you are, squad. Step your game up, grab your balls. We gave billions of dollars yet again to Israel and said we're going to help them, defend themselves. Meanwhile, the justice for the Palestinians was we'll help them possibly rebuild after we've watched them be destroyed and killed. Anyways, that's the bread. All that's the bread. Breaking bread. Break bread. That's what I'm saying. That's the bread. Now, who's the soup? You are. I am. We are the soup. And they're sopping up everything we got out of that bowl every single time. Every bill that get passed, and you watch your favorite social media personality who does news or media or whatever, or you watch the fake CNN and ABC and all of them craps, debate like they're having a serious conversation about what should be done and what's not being done, right? And why don't they go further? Like you don't know why, like you didn't help them, right? I'm gonna always keep messing with you. And Joy Reid too. I can't stand you either. And they have these fake conversations like they don't know that they are helping the powers to be use those little bready pieces to sop up everything we got, right? Look at the situation around us. They're sopping up everything we got. I've said this before. I have to say it now. I have to say it again. I'll keep on saying it until you get it, until it gets spread, or until I get tired of saying it. I don't know. But having said all that, because we have not done here in the U.S. what we should do, and the reason why we don't do what we should do, which was the original point why I went into that tangent, is because they don't have to. Because they created this for the very reason of being able to sop up every bit of everything we got to transfer it to themselves. What you have to understand, I'll get back to Kim Iverson in a minute. What you have to understand is that the elites, the powerful, the wealthy, they don't live the way we live. They're not beholden to the country in the way that we are. And I don't mean as patriots. I mean, or citizens. What I mean is they ain't got to live here. You dig what I'm saying? They got houses everywhere. You dig what I'm saying? So they can go wherever they want to go. They're living on a whole other level. So when you wonder why, Joe Biden doesn't push harder to get rid of the filibuster, as if that would even matter, because the argument around the filibuster is the silliest thing in the world, because guess what? That's just a distraction, because he's not going to do it. He was never going to do it. He's been around for 47 years or something like that. He's never changed his whiskers. It's not happening. It doesn't matter about the filibuster. It doesn't matter if Manchin or Cinema does or don't sign on with the program. It doesn't matter. There'll always be a reason for them not to do it. And they play that game back and forth with the Republicans because none of them are interested in doing anything. Get that. You got to get that. You have to get that, right? That's the most important part of this. This is a fake game that we are involved in, right? It's real life for us, but it's a game for them. They're getting paid. You dig what I'm saying? They're setting up themselves. I mean, Bezos is finna fly off. I wonder if Bezos knows something that we don't know, but he's finna fly off, right? He's probably gonna try to go put a down payment on Mars or wherever he's flying off to. Point is, we haven't done what we're supposed to do, right? So we're falling apart, and it's well known. The world around is laughing at us. I remember I was stationed as a soldier in Germany, and I had a friend, a little Italian chick, and she was like, this is when Bush was in office, and she was like, yo, what's wrong with you guys? What's wrong with America? What's wrong with America? What's wrong with Americans? What's wrong with this Bush guy? And that's when Bush was in office. The things I hear from my friends overseas right now is ridiculous. Like, and even more so than when Trump was in. That's crazy, right? Because Biden was supposed to be the return to, civility and common sense and norms. Understand that the norm is not normal. It's not normal. Not for you, not for me, not for any of us. It's not normal that you have to live below a standard of life that the rest of the developed world is enjoying. It's not normal that if you lose your job, then you don't have health care. It's not normal that if you get sick, you don't want to go to the hospital and get help and get care because the bill will literally break you. And that's if your credit ain't already so screwed that you don't care about the credit repercussions at all, right? That's not normal. But Joe Biden's supposed to return us to that. And Joe Biden's actions are to, I guess the way they see it is fighting with China. See my side eye? Because here's the deal. How you fighting with somebody that you're constantly doing deals with? How are we fighting with China when we are constantly buying from China? Yeah, we got, we have, little mean things that we say about them in the media and stuff like that, but behind the doors, we're constantly doing deals with them. So how does that fight even look like? What does that even look like? I don't even know. But I guess for all intents and purposes, the gathering opinion is that at least in independent media, and again, what Kim Iverson was pointing out, far better than I have pointed out here. Really great videos because Kim Iverson is really good. It's possible that all of this Wulong talk, because they don't care about where it really originated. They don't care. You're benefiting from it. They're using it. They're making money off of it, right? Especially the vaccine game, right? But all of this talk is to kind of smear China a little bit more, right? And then you see them pulling off into the humanitarian thing or whatever, which when you hear that, you know what that means, bro. Because I'm talking about humanitarian. They've been like prepping us all this time, getting us ready. They've been getting us set for, again, the term is manufacturing consent, right? And most of you checked out anyways, so you're not paying attention no damn way. One day you will pop up, we'll be at war with China, and you'll be like, oh, how the hell did we get at war with China? Yeah, while you're taking your booster shots, because mandatory boosters will probably be in effect by that time. But at any rate, go check out Kim Iverson's video. It's very in depth and covers well the issue to which we are facing, and the dynamic between the U.S. Kind of stoking the war flames a little bit with China, and then of course how the media plays into that. I think it's really important. It's a really good bit of information. I will try to link it in the thing down there below. Usually I just make these videos and I throw them right up. because I'm trying to keep it moving with the art stuff, and it takes a little bit of time to do all of this stuff, right? So if I don't get the links in immediately, I will get them in by sometime by the end of the day. And of course, I'll try to put in more links, more trusted links that you can check out. And hey, that's it. Thanks for watching. Tell a friend. More important than telling a friend about what I'm talking about or my channel, tell a friend about Kim Iverson's video and whatever information I'm sharing with you. Go check it out and tell a friend about that information. More important than sharing links to my shit, share links to their shit, because these are journalists, these are independent voices that are covering this stuff, and they're going through a lot to do it, and they're being deplatformed, and YouTube censorship and Facebook censorship and Twitter censorship is off the chain right now, right? So these people who are, these journalists, because they are, who are putting their lives on the line, and they are. Look at Julian Assange, right? And a number of others. Look at Daniel Ellsberg right now, trying to get the government to come at him so he can really drop the hammer and the balls on their forehead. These people are putting their necks out there so that we can be informed. So the least that we could do is pass that information on, right? So yeah, that's all I'm trying to do. I don't care if you, I like it if you subscribe, but I care more about sharing the information and getting that information out there, okay? So that's it. Also, really quickly, because most of my followers I know are here for art and nerd talk and stuff like that. And there are a great bit of you that are here that enjoy these, not enjoy, but that take in these political videos or these little vlogs, whatever the case is. Thank you very much, by the way. I am trying to figure out how I'm going to balance this thing out, because I feel a need to continue to do this political information sharing, right? So, I don't know, maybe I'll just do a playlist or something like that. I don't know, I'll figure it out so that I can, because I've got like time-lapse videos of art and stuff like that I want, even art talks that I want to put up. But my drive right now is this, as far as the video stuff in the channel. And I don't want to shut off, the art stuff. I would just say this, go check me out on Instagram. For sure, that's where I'm putting my art up at. Check out artbybrave.com, and then I've got a Linktree link that has all my stuff in it, and you can go down and check that out as well. I'm currently working on a model of Spider-Gwen, a statue bust thing, and I'll be putting it up on like my platforms and ArtStation and CD Trade and all that stuff if you guys want to check it out and get it. But yeah, that's it. So I'm trying to work that balance out between art and sharing information. I'm trying to figure it out. So just rock with me until then. All right, take it easy.